Hero Mega Minion in a nutshell. Mega Minion will be the next hero coming to Clash Royale. You can find it mid-season, likely in a shop offer like the Ice Golem one. Use code Abdod if you buy it, cause low-key rent is due and I'm kind of like screwed here. His ability assassinates a troop for 2 elixir, also a single use by the way, so it doesn't recharge. Now obviously the assassination isn't a one-hit KO, so don't expect to one-shot golems with it. Instead, it would be useful to take out things like Firecracker and other similar glass cannons. It deals slightly more damage than his regular attack, but it still doesn't one-shot anything that he couldn't already take out in one hit. Oh, and did I mention nowhere is safe? But how does it decide where to go, apart from the very obvious circle under the troop? When deployed, the Mega Minion will scan the whole arena and pick the troop with the lowest HP to put a target on. If there are 2 troops with the same HP, the Mega Minion will pick the one that is more far away. Unlike Lightning, it doesn't take the current HP into consideration, so it will target a Firecracker here despite having a 1 HP wizard over there. And that's because it goes off of the base HP of the troop itself from the stats. So if I play 2 princesses and zap the higher level one to make her HP lower, it would still target the one that had less max HP, aka the level 11 one. Here's where things get interesting. If they play a bunch of skeletons, the Mega Minion doesn't change his targeting. In fact, the circle stays there even if they zapped the poor guy. And this is applicable on invisible cards, so if Queen goes invisible, the target will stay on her. The only change is that it wouldn't get attacked by him cause, well, she's invisible. I'll have to mention though, it can't detect an invisible troop, so a ghost remains unseen until it attacks at least once. This is helpful for Tesla players to make sure their building stays mostly safe until it starts attacking. The only way for him to swap a target is when the original target dies. Then he would look for another one. This means that playing a Mega Minion in the back is likely a bad play because the opponent can distract it and would have more control over where the ability would go. What you should be looking into doing is playing it reactively when the opponent places down something vulnerable and squishy. It has some very cool applications and opens up the door to many crazy plays. But you know what's also cool? My Red Magic 11 Pro when I turn on the liquid cooling option. Look at how cool this flowing liquid looks. This is the ultimate gaming phone. It comes with a minimum of 16 GB of RAM and over 500 GB of storage, with battery that lasts around 10 hours under heavy use. The processor it has is a Generation 5 Snapdragon 8. With a processor this strong, you can play any games with high graphics at the highest settings without worrying about your frame rate dropping. And on top of that, it enables you to get up to 144 frames per second if the apps you are using support such thing. The phone's screen is pretty long, that it has a section at the bottom that fits the hero ability buttons as opposed to other devices that might have the ability buttons in some awkward places. Basically, this phone is really nice for Clash Royale from what I have experienced. One of my favorite features about it is the built-in L and R triggers. Yes, those are real buttons. You can assign them to click anywhere on the screen. For example, I can assign each one of them to each of the hero abilities if I want a faster way to activate them, although they are usually best used in landscape games like shooters. Honestly, having these triggers on the gadget and hypercharge in Brawl Stars is really life-changing. But why stop here? You can literally full-on use a controller with any game that already supports the option. Bro thinks he's playing. I am colorblind, but according to my family, the colors are really beautiful. And in all honesty, using cloud gaming, I barely see any difference between it and my gaming laptop, which is really impressive. Also, yes, I beat Grohl. He wasn't as hard as you all told me in the comments, just had an annoying run back. Once again, special thanks to Red Magic for sending me this device, which I literally have been using every single day since I got, and for sponsoring today's video. Oh wait, it targets buildings. Yes, it counters pump, but it's a 5-for-5 trade, so it isn't that broken of a play. It's still worth doing though. Now, as a pump player, despite it looking like in front of the king would be the best placement because both towers would be attacking the Mega Minion, having it behind the tower is much better because, wait for it, free king activation. Yay! Please keep in mind, having it far away from the king tower would not only prevent the king tower activation, but likely also land a hit on your tower. If your king tower is activated, then in front is a better position because it would have all 3 towers attacking him, potentially saving some of your elixir pump. Another very interesting use is that it allows you to protect your Mega Minion from attacks, because when the ability is used, the enemy troops would retarget onto something else. This is because when he uses his ability, he gets some invisible frames for a few seconds. It's hard to notice in most cases because he loses the invisibility when he attacks. But by doing a setup like this, it becomes easier to spot because I zapped away the troop he was initially going to attack, so he had to go to the tower. This gives me an idea. You can technically use it as a miner if they play a squishy card in the back. Even something as stupid as a spirit can provide a segue for your Mega Minion to lock on the tower, or fast ground troops as they would walk away from him, which would leave no choice but the tower. This is likely why it has reduced ground tower damage for 5 seconds. But how do you counter this? Spells, I would say, are unreliable because spending a fireball to keep your half HP musketeer alive is a waste. They would be great if they cancelled his dash, but unfortunately they don't. And this isn't a timing issue since Tornado covers a huge area, yet the Mega Minion seems to be not affected. The one exception to this is Vines. Yes, this works for some reason, don't ask me why, I have no idea. Using troops is a waste because it's hard locked on whatever it is flying towards. Using some sort of reset can technically push him off of the troop you're trying to protect. It's a big investment, but low-key it can see some applications in niche situations, so keep that in mind. Tower troops with stronger initial burst damage are more effective against him, though I don't know if you want to change your tower troop for just one card. It's worth mentioning that playing ranged cards closer to the middle of the arena is generally a better idea because the other tower could jump in to help. Taunting him with Knight can technically get him off of your troop, so that's another way to stop him. Keep in mind that the taunt effect is wasted if the Mega Minion was in his traveling animation. Also, if you taunt him before he flies to your squishy card, it would just make him go for the Knight after his initial warp instead of warping into him directly. Some cards can deal better with him. For example, Evo Wizard is mostly safe because of the shield. Evo Hunter has a net that would help him hold his own weight for a bit. Monk can reflect his attack after a warp, but I don't know who would use the ability on a monk. Also, by the way, the regular attack on the Mega Minion itself looks kind of like a melee attack, but it still gets reflected by the monk. Mighty Miner can escape, but also the same as the monk. No one would try to assassinate him. What's interesting is that even though it's dangerous to play squishy cards if a Mega Minion is already on the field, certain swarm cards have different interactions due to the stagger they have. So basically playing Rascals is fine because the Mega Minion will lock on the boy since he spawns first. Now regarding decks, since its ability is kind of situational, I can't see it being shoved in every deck. Like, what would an export deck do with it? Considering it's already good in heavier decks, and this ability complements the playstyle, it'll likely be played in the same stuff. For example, the way cycle players counter Lava Hound decks is by playing their anti-air cards early so they can cycle to another one once you spell them out. If you start your push with a Mega Minion in the back instead of a Lava, then the Firecracker they play will get marked, which means you can take it out normally and spell the second one. In giant decks, oftentimes you find yourself tower trading with a giant Mega Minion push against other heavy decks. What's great here is that with the hero ability, you can technically tap a button and have your Mega Minion target their push instead of dying to the King Tower. I can maybe see some argument for it being played in Graveyard since it can snipe some things like Mother Witch. And even if they countered the Graveyard with Swarm, the Mega Minion just getting near the tower with an active Graveyard to support your skeletons can be very threatening. It is very expensive though, so maybe this would be a 2v2 strategy. For King Tower activations, if you wait for him to come through the bridge, then just like the regular Mega Minion, it will be impossible to get him on it. Instead, you need to wait for them to activate your trap card and snipe a troop so you can pull him into the King Tower. It works from various angles, you just need to act quick enough and everything will work out just fine. Here are the sound effects. I feel like This is low-key the only hero ability that has a good design, especially when you compare it to horrible designs like Hero Giant and Hero Goblins, my dudes.